All right, CD&SAM podcast, episode 37 here. I know it's been a minute, but we're back today. I guess summer's, or like this stretch of the year is kind of difficult for you, at least, because I know you have baseball going on for most of the time.
Yep.
But we're back now, and a lot going on in the sports world. We got the NBA Finals at we're recording this. Game 4 of the Eastern Conference is tonight, but it's 3-0 Miami. No coming back from that, so we kind of know the finals matchup. So getting into it, Western Conference Finals, what did you make of things?
First things first is that Nikola Jokic is the best player in the world. I think that's kind
Ooh,
of.
that's
I
I
think
kind of
it's
think that's an
objective
interesting
now,
take.
right?
Maybe, I don't know. Statistically, yeah, his
Bro,
stats
I
are
mean, I
crazy,
know
but
you saw some of those shots that man was hitting.
I think if he wins the championship, I think I'd have to put him number one. But
Yeah,
until then, it's going to be Giannis because he has the ring.
yeah, I guess. But it was the Lakers Nuggets series was a pretty uneventful series in the sense that the games were close at sometimes, like in game four. The Lakers were actually winning most of the game, but they choked it away. But yeah, I just think it's the Nikola Jokic show.
Yeah. Well, actually, game one, the Nuggets kind of punched the Lakers in the mouth really early.
Yeah.
But games, I think 2 through 4, the Lakers actually had leads in the fourth quarter, and we saw Jokic take over. Uh, but and what Jokic has done has been incredible. It's a like Hall of Fame level run that he's had this postseason, but also bubble god Jamal Murray, his resurgence coming back, and he's been playing at an all-star level, if not above that, for the first time in a few years, and that's probably why they're here.
Yeah, and they also got guys like Bruce Brown stepping up, playing
Yeah.
good defense, making a tough
I
shot when they
I
need it.
didn't I didn't know Bruce Brown could score like that before this playoffs.
He can't.
Yeah. Like I thought he was just defense, but then he's been averaging like 15 or something in the series or whatever.
No, I'm pretty sure Bruce Brown is just defense, but like he
That's what I
just
think too, but he was hooping.
he was hooping.
Um
Like he made some tough floaters here and there.
yeah, he did. Um and well, I thought last night we might get something kind of special. There's my camera.
See you later,
Um
Sam.
I thought last night we might get something kind of special in that series with LeBron dropping 31 in the first half, but
Yeah.
that obviously didn't last. So yeah, pretty uneventful. There goes the camera again.
See you later, camera.
Um, I'm gonna get this set up here. Talk for a while I adjust this.
All right, yeah. So this would like I'm gonna take a few shots at the Lakers here. I mean, LeBron kind of, I would say LeBron did almost all he could. I mean, there are a few plays here and there he could have done differently, but like Anthony Davis just isn't a guy you can count on, bro. Like, and I think that's like it's now proven for sure, 100%, even if he is healthy. Like, I mean, 4 for 15 in game three. First of all, Davis should not only be taking 15 shots.
Yeah.
If like people think he's like that good of a that type of player.
Mm,
Um, and LeBron just needs that help, man. He's like what 39 at this point, 38.
yeah.
And Austin Reeves ain't going to do it consistently, even
I
though
in
he's pretty good.
I rooted for the Nuggets and Austin Reeves because I love Austin Reeves. Um, he had some great games, but you're probably right. Even with all the help that they did get,
Hachimura was pretty
it's
good too.
yeah, Hachimura had a really good series, but for whatever reason, they kept sticking him on Jokic on the defensive end, and I did not get it. At
Jokic would
some
just
point, they
slowly back him into the post and
yeah,
then just find somebody.
at some point they just said screw it last night and put Tristan Thompson in, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah, Tristan
Um,
Thompson also got to do the halftime interview, which I thought was
really, I
pretty
didn't see that.
funny. Yeah.
Um, but even with all the moves that they made, it felt like depth was still an issue in this series for the Lakers. And a big part of that was D'Angelo Russell, who I think they expected to maybe be their third scorer, and he just had a terrible series. I mean, people have been bringing up his plus minus, I know a lot, and the Nuggets just seem to have the answer for him.
Yeah, I mean, D'Angelo Russell's a terrible defender too.
Yeah, he is. So if he's not scoring, which he wasn't,
He
he's just not doing anything out
he's
there
not
of
going to be
use.
playmaking because LeBron's going to have the ball.
Exactly. I thought LeBron maybe needed to be more aggressive at times in this series.
Yeah,
Because it still feels like when he wants to get downhill, nobody's stopping him. And especially on the Nuggets, they didn't really have anyone that wanted to get in his way because Jokic isn't going to try and get into foul trouble like that.
I know we think of LeBron as like a machine, but like maybe he was like a little gassed, you know? So
I think he probably was too. Like maybe he's pacing himself,
yeah,
but it's LeBron. What did you think of his comments after the game about like retirement and stuff like that?
dude, that's actually so scary. Like, imagine we lose Brady and Braun in the same year.
I could give a damn about losing Brady.
Yeah,
Voice crack number one.
I don't really care about Brady, but LeBron would be detrimental for me.
Yeah, I mean, I never was a LeBron fan, but he's obviously my generation's player, him and Steph. So I really doubt that we've seen his last game, but that was it. What I will say is a possibility, with Bronny probably entering the league in 2 years is that he could maybe not play next year and then come back
You
for
think
Bronny's
that's
rookie year.
you think that's a possibility?
I think it's possible, like the way he was talking about it.
How would he sit
Um,
out though? Like, how would that work contractually?
I mean, it'd be like the same thing Sean Payton did. I mean, I know he's coach,
Yeah,
player, different thing, but like he could retire and then come out, and then the Lakers would have to trade him, but they couldn't like get that much because they know he's not playing anywhere
yeah,
else other than where Bronny is. But we'll see. That could happen. But ultimately, I think he'll be back next year in the Lakers uniform.
yeah. Me too. I think that's. I think he's just building up suspense. I don't blame
Maybe.
him.
It is worth noting though, because he's never said anything like that before.
Yeah, and I mean LeBron's a winner, like whether you like it or not. So I mean,
Yeah, and I think maybe not winning in a while might be getting to him because if
yeah,
you think about it, this is the longest he's gone without a championship since he got that first ring in 2012. So maybe that's getting to him a little bit. And he is 38. And the stuff he's done in this playoffs has been crazy. But at some point, um,
I mean, the things he did
Father
this
Time's still
year.
undefeated, as the
Yeah,
cliche
Father
goes.
Time is undefeated, and will always be undefeated.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, one more time, just shout out Rui Hachimura, who's probably
Yeah, he
the
had a
second
great
best player
series
in that
on the
series for the
offensive end.
Lakers. Jared Vanderbilt did Jared Vanderbilt things.
I like Jared Vanderbilt. He'd be on my top 10 non-Pelicans players.
Yeah, every time I think about the Pelicans, I just get sad. But let's just not talk
The
about them.
Pelicans
Let's
were
talk.
so bad in the second half of the season that they burned me out on basketball. Like I'm just now getting into the playoffs and it's like almost over.
Yeah,
Like
I
the
mean, I've
first
been
and
watching
second
it here and
round.
there.
Yeah, but like most years I watch like every game.
This is
Um
normally what happens, like with the Saints for me.
oh yeah. I actually enjoy the NFL playoffs when the Saints aren't in it more
Really?
cuz I stress out so much watching the Saints play playoff football.
Yeah, I guess I
Um
hear you. Let's talk about the other series with
go out
Jimmy
east.
Buckets.
Jimmy buckets, man. I mean, we've never seen anything like this playoff run ever. I mean, I can't think of anything that's close to it.
Has the 8 seed ever made the finals?
Yeah, the 1999 Knicks, they got swept by the Spurs, but that was kind of different because it was a strike year. So this would be the first
Yeah,
time in a full season. Um,
yeah. I
but
saw.
this is the
Go ahead.
it's the same team that lost to the Hawks in that play-in game at home. It's crazy that they're a game away from the finals tonight.
Yeah, like it's just it's really strange to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Um, I saw Jalen Brown say this thing. He was like, "All we need is one game." Like, bro, what? Like you
I
need
mean, yeah,
four.
you need one game and then you need three more.
Another. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, there's just no coming back from 3-0. Last night felt a little bit different because it's like if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be LeBron, right?
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, they got whipped in game three. That was a must-win game. Everybody knew it was a must-win game, and they went out and fell behind by about 35 points in the third quarter and just didn't really show any kind of fight. So
When
I don't think
Good.
they'll show any tonight.
Yeah. When late in the game, Bam got like a rebound in front of Horford and somebody else, and then he just
Mm.
like slammed it. Dude, that was
Oh
I
yeah,
was actually going crazy. That was actually kind of hype.
yeah. And I don't think the Heat are the kind of team that are gonna take it easy tonight. It's just not what they
Yeah,
do.
no. They have leaders on that team, Jimmy and Kyle
Absolutely.
Lowry.
I don't know if there's like a more in sync, like top to bottom trio than Pat Riley, Spoelstra, and Jimmy Butler. Like those dudes are just ultimate competitors at every level of the
Yeah.
organization, and that's why I think we see the Heat at this point
I
in the
wish
season so
Pat
often.
Riley would come to the Pelicans. That would be hype.
Don't we all? Um, One thing I thought was funny, I was noting the other night because I was watching the blowout in Game 3, second half, was the Heat fans are so used to being in this spot that they all just like cleared out in the third quarter and just did something else. Like if imagine like a Pelicans crowd if we were in that same spot, like
Oh
we
no,
we would
everybody
be
was
packed the whole
yeah.
time. The Heat probably had about 100 people in that arena by the midway through the fourth quarter. It was so funny to me, spoiled fan
Yeah.
base.
Um I mean I wasn't expecting this at all. I mean, so ESPN put out like the projections, I guess, for the series. It was 97% for the Celtics and only 3 for the Heat. I was like, you know what, I could kind of get behind that. I didn't think the Heat really had a shot against the Celtics, but I was wrong.
Uh, Man, especially after the Boston team that we saw in game 6 and 7 of that Philly series,
Yeah.
if they had brought that into this conference finals, maybe we're talking about a different thing. But also, I kind of think the Heat are just this good. Like I know they're the 8 seed, but they've just killed everybody. Like Milwaukee in 5 games, New York in 5 games, while missing Jimmy Butler for one of those, and then they're just gonna sweep Boston. Like it's not. It's kind of a fluke because they went 44-38 in the regular season, but they've just been dominant in the postseason. So I don't think we have to
44
treat
and
them any
38 in the
differently.
regular season is actually kind of crazy.
Yeah. Um, so I don't think we have to treat them any differently because they're an 8 seed with the way that they've been playing in these playoffs.
So what do you think went wrong for the Celtics this series?
I mean, they started talking to Jimmy Butler for one thing, and
Yeah,
then
that stoked the fire.
yeah, and then the stars just haven't really shown out for him. And they showed Tatum and Brown were both terrible in Game 3, and then I'll be honest, I didn't watch Game 1. Game 2 was just Jimmy Butler down the stretch, and then Boston. I think coaching is a big problem for them because they've looked really not composed down the stretch of games in this series,
I think if
as
they have
opposed to Miami.
I think if they have Ime, they repeat what they did last year.
I think so too. I mean, credit to Greg Mazzulla because he was put in a difficult spot this season,
For sure.
and
Yeah.
I don't know if I expected them to get this far after the Ime Udoka stuff at the start of the year. Um, but they look really outclassed on the sidelines, right, in this series.
Yeah. The Heat are up there with the Warriors in well-run organizations.
Definitely. It's like a top to bottom culture where it's just pure dedication to winning, and it's guys that have done it before.
Yeah.
So that's why we see those two teams playing into late May basketball more than anyone else, I think.
Yeah. One more thing. Why, like, has Rob Williams been, like, still recovering from an injury? Because remember how good he was last year? I know he had a big injury, but
I mean, he looked once they made that adjustment to start the two bigs in that Philly series, he looked good. But I think it's a difficult matchup with Miami because they do run a 6'9" guy at their center. So I think
a
that kind of
6'9"
limits
guy that
what
plays
he
like
can do.
he's 7'2".
Yeah, pretty much. So I think that kind of limits what Boston can do with their big men, which is a big part of their team. So maybe that matches up poorly for them. But I really didn't see this coming. I thought Celtics in 5 or 6.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% agree with you. I mean, excuse me, but in the Lakers series, I had Lakers in 6.
Oh, really?
And yeah, they got swept. So
Well, I said I kind of had to see it in game 1. My pick at the start was Nuggets in 6. But I said I had to see game 1 because if the Lakers had come out and looked good then I probably would have said, okay, then LeBron's just going to do this again. But after game 1, I think it was apparent that the Nuggets were the superior team.
yeah, I think if LeBron would have won, we're getting hypothetical here, but if LeBron would have won, I think it would have been uh there wouldn't have really been an argument for Jordan to be the GOAT.
There still would have been the people that would have said 5 versus 6, but even as someone that does think it's Jordan right now, I think it's very close. I would have had to have gone with LeBron if he had gotten this one.
Yeah. I still agree with you.
I think soon, and we're not going to get into this debate too much, but I think soon it comes into the question of greatest player versus best player of all time, because LeBron's longevity, Jordan can't touch that, but also the prime Jordan versus prime Bron, it's probably Jordan. So, we'll see. I respect both opinions.
Last thing on the
yeah,
Celtics series, Malcolm Brogdon wasn't good, like he has been.
not good, and that was a big part for them as well, because he was sixth man of the year this year. He's a big part of what they did. So him having a rough series, definitely big impact on the team.
Yeah.
Now, my biggest problem with the GOAT debate is my last thing on this is like people get so personally offended when you don't agree with them, and
I
it's
feel
like,
like
is
it's
it?
really just the LeBron people that get like.
Yeah, I've seen Jordan people though a little bit, but it's like, is it really so offensive to say that your guy is the second greatest player to ever touch a basketball?
See, this might be the only thing. It might be like a generation versus generation thing, like whose
Yeah,
generation's better.
yeah, um, yeah. If we talk about greatest players of generations, that's easier as well. I don't know. It's a slippery slope, the NBA GOAT debate.
Sam Random athlete.
Sean Kemp. Don't know why. I was debating between Sean Kemp and Christian Walker of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Don't know
Wow.
why.
Okay.
Those are the two names that came into my head.
All right. Well, speaking of Diamondbacks, let's talk about
Mhm.
baseball now.
Get into it for
I'm
sure.
a lover of baseball, so is Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Yanks are playing well.
Yeah.
Our favorite
Uh,
team.
getting it
But
rolling.
I think the door right now for the MLB is wide open for anybody, really, except
Yeah,
for the
especially with
A's.
how Houston has kind of struggled this year.
They're
Because
kind of
it
getting on
seemed
track
like,
right now.
yeah, and they will. Sorry, camera keeps falling. And so, what was I saying? If Houston gets it back on track, they seem to be the one team that might have a little bit of a stranglehold on the AL, but we've seen a lot of other teams play up to a level that seems like they could compete in October.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the AL East, I mean, the Blue Jays are in last and they have a winning record. So
Mm-hmm. Let's see. If you had to pick AL East standings right now, because where would you go with? Because that's the best division in baseball by far.
what do you mean?
Like what do you think it's gonna be at the end of the year? Who's winning? What order?
I think it's gonna be Rays, Yankees. I think the Yanks are gonna miss out by a game or two, and
Okay.
then I think it'll be Blue Jays, Orioles, Red Sox.
Blue Jays, Orioles, Red Sox.
So
I
what we
like
had
it.
last year, right?
Um yes, that was what we had. Or
Yeah.
no, we beat the Rays for the division.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I like it. I would probably flip flop on
Baltimore, Toronto.
maybe Baltimore and Toronto.
Yeah.
But um I think we're probably gonna get 4 teams from the AL East in the playoffs this year, especially with the balanced schedule where you only play your division 13 times instead of
Yeah.
19 times.
So
I
we're
think
not
that
all
opens the
beating
door.
up on ourselves.
Yeah, so I think that opens the door for that to happen. And because if I look at the rest of the league, like obviously the AL Central isn't getting one,
I
and
don't think
then
the Texans or
I
Texans
think
or
the Rangers
Rangers.
will drop off,
Yeah.
and then that'll leave us with the AL East. So I think top 4 teams from the East go to the playoffs, and then probably we get the Twins and the Astros.
Yeah. Shout out the Tigers. They're not terrible this year.
That's true. I thought they'd be terrible, and I mean, to be fair, they're 3 games under 500, but it just so happens that when you play in the AL Central, that puts you 2.5 games out. But it's good for them.
I've kind of gotten to like teams like the Nationals and Marlins for some reason.
I like the
Maybe,
Marlins.
yeah, I like the Nationals just because I just like seeing kind of the project players. Like, I don't know if you know CJ Abrams and
Yeah,
like
I like him.
Keibert
Uh,
Ruiz, just like kind of pan out, see what they got.
yeah, and the Nationals have been pretty not terrible this year. They're 20-27. Um, so that's not incredibly awful.
I mean, the A's
Uh,
are really the only outlier. They're 10-39.
oh, I do my I don't do the roast thing every episode, but it is so deserving with this one. I got to hold the mic for this. The Oakland A's this season have been epically bad. I mean, you look at it, they're 10-39, which like that looks terrible until you start putting that over in a 102 game span and you realize the possibility that it is that they lose about 130 games. Like you imagine looking at the ESPN standings later this season and you see that a team went 100, they went 32 and 130 because that is a legitimate possibility with this team. They're so epically bad. Their pitching, I think their starting pitching ERA is about an 8, and then you get to their bullpen, it's about a 7. Their run differential this year is about, I think it's in the minus 160s, which to put that in reference, the second worst team right now is about minus 55. It's the Royals. So they're 110 worse in run differential than any other team in baseball. And then if you compare that to run differentials that teams had last year, the worst was I think it was the Nationals at like 260 or 250. So they're gonna catch that in
They're probably gonna
probably
catch that by like September,
yeah, or no, they're
early
gonna catch that much
September.
sooner.
Yeah.
Um, like it's a legit possibility that they end with a minus 500 run differential, and that's not even getting into anything that they have off the field. Um, it,
Yeah, with
I
moving to
mean,
Vegas.
the move to Vegas, I just don't get it. I don't think Vegas really cares about them. And now they're asking the city for, I think, the original asking was for about 400 million. I think they've abbreviated it to 250. And I just don't think the city gives a damn about bringing in a third professional sports team in the last decade. Um, but they buy that property in Las Vegas, and we know that they're not going to have a stadium there till at least 2027, 2028. And of course, the lease on the fantastic Oakland Coliseum ends after next year. So that would just leave them without anywhere to play. Like, because if I was Oakland, if you were the city of Oakland, why would you let them stay? They've done nothing but try and get out, and they didn't really give them a fair chance
So
at
could
getting
you
another
see
stadium.
them having a year or two stint in like just a random ass city?
They need to just dissolve the whole franchise, if you ask me. Like, I mean, they have to still get the funding, I think, from Las Vegas to do it. So in the best case scenario, they play out in Oakland, and then they probably have to move to their AAA affiliate for a few years, which is a disaster. And then you move to Las Vegas, which is a city that I just don't think cares
I
about
think
the
their
A's.
AAA affiliate is Los Angeles or Las Vegas.
No, I think they're the Mets. I don't know why I know that, but they are.
That was the Aviators.
No, it's the Las Vegas. I think it's like the 51s, Area 51. Whatever.
It's irrelevant.
Not my point. Um, but the A's on and off the field are the biggest disaster I've ever seen a sports team go through. And it's like you look at the team and what are they playing for other than to get out? Like, I think the incentive for everyone has to be, hey, if you win games, we'll trade you out of this shitty place to play baseball. Like, it's just a total dump. The field,
Nobody
the
goes to
stadium.
the games.
Why? Well, why? I'd like to ask whoever is at the games, why are you there? Because the team is terrible, the stadium's terrible, the prices are expensive. It's not in a convenient location. They estimate that there's over 100 feral cats on the property of the stadium. They had to move the Mets broadcast not too long ago because of a possum in the broadcast booth. Like, yes, broadcast had a problem with that last year too. Um,
For the
I just,
Yanks.
yeah, I don't get why anyone would go. Um,
Dude, nah, there's probably a There's probably 500 people that go to their games, bro.
Yeah, there was one the other night
It was bad. I
where
know.
it was 9 out of 11 of the AAA games that night had more fans in the stands than an A's game. But if anybody shows up to their games, they're lucky for what the product that they put out this year. It doesn't deserve to be seen by human spectators. It's bad.
Yeah,
And
I
I
get
could
what
I
you're
could keep
saying.
talking, but I'll stop.
It's very embarrassing, but
It is.
that's not for us to worry about. It's for other people.
I hope it goes as poorly as possible for those owners because they
It
really
will.
didn't give
It
Oakland
will.
a chance to do anything with the team. I mean, they're purposefully bad. Not just because as in like they're tanking, but I think they were purposefully bad to make
They don't
the
want to
move
spend
out
the
of the
money.
city more appealing.
Yeah.
But not really a roast as much as a just
Just
a recap of everything
pointing
in
out.
Oakland.
Yeah.
It's it's like it's kind of similar to the Detroit Lions, where like you can just read off some of the things that have happened in their franchise's history to roast them, and
See,
it's
at
like
least
you're
the
just stating
Lions got
facts.
something going good. Like, I think they're gonna be decent this
I like
year.
the Lions this year.
Yeah.
They could be a
Nine-game
wild card
season.
contender again.
Yeah.
Um,
Go Yankees though.
Go Yanks. Any NL takes?
National League takes. I think the Cardinals are gonna start picking it up. Continue
Yeah,
to
they
get
have.
better.
Yeah, they've finally been good enough for me to watch them this year because I do watch them pretty frequently. I
Oh,
think they've
also I'm
won.
a. Go ahead.
They've won. I think maybe 5 or 6 straight series. So yeah,
Yeah. I'm a fan of Lars Nootbaar.
I like Lars. Yeah, he's a good
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Newt. And then obviously that division's terrible as well. So they're
The
only
Pirates
5 games
fell off.
out. So lots to play for there. And then I really like the D-backs this year too. They've been pretty fun. I watch them occasionally.
Just for a
Um,
frame of reference here, the Cardinals are 7 games under 500 and are 5 games back in the division lead, while
mm,
the Yankees are 6 games out of the division lead and are 9 games over
yep.
500. Just
No, the Central divisions are crazy this year. Like literally every team in the AL East would be winning the AL Central right now.
yeah.
It's wild. So
And then Toronto would be tied with Minnesota for the
yeah,
lead.
Toronto would be tied, and then everybody else would be ahead.
Yeah, that's
It's
wild. That
crazy.
is crazy.
And the Mets have been disappointing. The Marlins have been okay. Philly has been disappointing. Shout out to the Pirates.
Yeah.
That's about it for MLB. You got any other closing sports takes before we go?
No, other than I mean, I would like to start doing the pod more often,
Oh,
but
definitely.
Pelicans kind of just traumatized me as a
Pelicans
fan.
killed us, man.
Yeah,
They
but at
killed
least for
my
the
soul.
NBA. But
Yeah.
if you're interested in
Um,
baseball, definitely stick around.
no, for sure. Well, final thing for me. I know we don't cover soccer a lot, but I've been very into Premier League this year. Um, shout out to my team, Tottenham, who have caused me so much mental anguish this season because they've been so epically bad and disappointing. I hate them with a passion, but I still tune in every like Saturday morning, and it makes me want to kill myself every time.
All right,
It,
Sam, can't be saying that
don't
kind of
make
stuff.
okay. Well, if you were a Tottenham fan, you would know what I mean.
Shout out
But
Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks.
no,
That's all.
Diamondbacks, yeah. But Arsenal blew the league, so that makes me happy. And that's about it for my soccer takes.
Yeah. So for me and soccer, our relationship fell off pretty hard. I was into soccer. Yeah, I would say last Christmas, like 2021 Christmas, to about April, and
Hmm.
then I just stopped caring.
What happened?
I
Or
don't know.
what league did you follow?
Well, I was just an Mbappe fan, so I was just
Was it
watching
like
PSG's
PSG?
games.
Yeah. I have an Mbappe jersey on right now. This is the France World Cup kit.
Should have told me that. I would have just put this on.
Hmm.
Going right here.
Oh yeah, we could have matched. I think Gianni has one too. We could all match.
I think
Be
Gianni has
beautiful.
that one.
Oh yeah. We'd look fabulous together.
Yes, we would. All right. Well,
Well, it's been fun. We'll do this more often for sure.
yeah, we will definitely. try
But,
to get it more often. And also, we're gonna try to spice up the pod. Sam's gonna do some research. I'm gonna do some research.
yeah, we're gonna get cooking.
All right, CD and Sam's on the rise. It's on the rise.
Indeed, always.
All right.
All right, QD outro.
Pediatric. Yep.
All right,
Sam
Sam
and
and CD,
CD and
CD
Sam.
and Sam.